You guys, Vivek Ramaswamy, shut it down. And I think CNN is going to ban him from ever coming back on, doing any more interviews, anything. CNN is done. He shut it down. Just completely exposed Kamala Harris. And y'all know Vivek Ramaswamy was in our top three for VPs, in our top three. But we're excited as long as he's in the cabinet. But man, this fella here, woo! Vivek Ramaswamy, y'all. Let's check this out.
You brought up some claims about Kamala Harris. I want to finish that discussion. She said she didn't favor a ban on fracking now. The reality is she was one of the strongest proponents of that ban, so much so that when she was in California, she sued the Obama administration over granting fracking permits. She didn't just favor the abolition of private health insurance. She was a co-sponsor of the bill with Bernie Sanders as a U.S. Senator for Medicare for All for Americans. The reality is, when you think about the Green New Deal, she was the chief proponent, not just as a co-sponsor of the legislation, but going further and saying she would end the filibuster in the Senate to ram that through. So the reality is she can say what she wants to say now. Those are actions she has taken. Is someone allowed to evolve? Of course they are. But she deserves to explain exactly why she's changed those positions, exactly what her position is. If it's not a ban on fracking, what exactly is it? What exactly is her healthcare plan if she no longer favors abolishing private health insurance, which just 4 short years ago when she ran for president, she did? And that's the kind of scrutiny that's been missing. I think Donald Trump has received plenty of scrutiny, and I give credit to him for sitting for hostile interviews that Kamala Harris has not.
Ooh-wee. Hey, y'all know, man. Everybody knows, man, that Vivek has been killing it for a while. And they know, again, he's one of the best speakers. I mean, this guy's on top of his game, man. He's literally ruined people's careers. Like it's just suicidal to get him on and interview him. He will destroy you in almost any topic, anything, you know. And he sets the record straight, man. But boy, what do y'all think of that? We're gonna jump into this video. But boy, I know CNN regrets that, man. CNN regrets having Vivek on there, man. Just exposed her, you know, exposed her career in just a minute. Just a minute, y'all. But hey, man, what's up to them? What's going on, beautiful patriots? How y'all doing, man? My brothers and sisters, man. We wishing the best in everybody's life, man. It's almost Friday. Almost Friday, isn't it? It's almost Friday, man. I hope you guys are well, that your family's well, that you guys are having an amazing week, an amazing start to September, man. It's gonna be one of a month, you know. But if you get a chance to be a blessing to somebody's life, man, I encourage you to do so. You know, spread love to one another, man. One love to the human race, man. One love to the human race, man. I encourage y'all to spread that love. But let's go and check this out. I wanted to get into this one from Hive Mind. I know he put together an amazing video, so I want to react to it. Let's check it out. I'm telling you, I know they regret having Vivek on, man. And there was people even tweeting and saying CNN has banded Vivek Ramaswamy.
Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, just the other week we were talking about Caitlin Collins' appearance on Bill Maher's show, Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO, where she was essentially taking the stance that CNN was not fake news. In fact, she was even going beyond that. Not only was she claiming that CNN was real news, but she—
Enemy of the people, fake news. Enemy of the people. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS. The spew, not the view. The spew. Spew. Fake news. Bias report. Lied to the American people. Lies after lies after lies. Cover-ups. But we know what's going on. People that can think for themselves. People know how corrupt it is. We know what's going on. And it has to be too big to rig this year. And we're going to continue to wake tons of people up. We've already woken up tons of people, but they're going to continue to wake up. Because we're sick and tired, man. People are sick and tired of being lied to. Lied to. You know, like stolen valor, tampon Timmy. You see why his whole family just endorsed Trump. Your vice president family just endorsed Trump. Everybody. The biological family, just everybody endorsed Trump. Even his mom doesn't even agree with him or has his vote. Man, that's powerful right there, y'all.
She claims that they don't even have a bias, that they're totally neutral, just journalists trying to give the people the facts, and her proof of this, well, we let Scott Jennings speak like 2% of the time. Watch CNN all day long, it's non-stop Trump hysteria 24/7, but then Scott Jennings gets to speak for maybe 10 minutes out of the 24-hour cycle, and all of a sudden CNN absolves itself of all their nasty bias, fake news, and communist propaganda. Yeah, doesn't exactly work that way. The reality is clear. CNN is total fake news. They're in the pocket of the DNC simply doing Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's bidding. It's so freaking obvious. And you know what else is obvious? It's obvious why they don't bring conservatives on and they keep pointing to Scott Jennings. He's the only guy they bring on because he's kind of like controlled opposition, you know? He does a good job, but he doesn't really take it to them. There's a reason why they very rarely bring on conservative titans to speak, and it's because of moments like these. Folks, this is what happens when CNN actually allows a challenge. There's a reason they don't like bringing on people like Vivek Ramaswamy. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we're still essentially talking about the same thing. This right here is why Democrats are so scared of debate and discussion. This is why they're constantly trying to control the conversation, and most importantly, exclude the real grassroots conservatives out of their panels and debates.
You brought up some claims about Kamala Harris. I want to finish that discussion. She said she didn't favor a ban on fracking now. The reality is she was one of the strongest proponents of that ban, so much so that when she was in California, she sued the Obama administration over granting fracking permits. She didn't just favor the abolition of private health insurance. She was a co-sponsor of the bill with Bernie Sanders as a U.S. Senator for Medicare for All for Americans. The reality is, when you think about the Green New Deal, she was the chief proponent, not just as a co-sponsor of the legislation, but going further and saying she would end the filibuster in the Senate to ram that through. So the reality is she can say what she wants to say now. Those are actions she has taken. Is someone allowed to evolve? Of course they are. But she deserves to explain exactly why she's changed those positions, exactly what her position is. If it's not a ban on fracking, what exactly is it? What exactly is her healthcare plan if she no longer favors abolishing private health insurance, which just 4 short years ago when she ran for president, she did? And that's the kind of scrutiny that's been missing. I think Donald Trump has received plenty of scrutiny, and I give credit to him for sitting for hostile interviews that Kamala Harris has not.
It's no wonder why, huh? No wonder they want to avoid the conversation so desperately, because when the truth comes out, they all look like complete fools. It's not just Kamala Harris who had her career ended essentially there in 60 seconds, it's also CNN's unethical journalism that, in my opinion, gets totally exposed. Because CNN has been having this conversation over the last little while, but they've never given any actual legitimate pushback. When Kamala Harris responds to her flip-flopping on these important issues, someone like Dana Bash will just let it go.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
what I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Okay. Another issue, big one, is immigration. As Vice President, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries.
Kamala gets questioned from the perspective of Republicans. Dana Bash presents the idea, well, Republicans have made this claim. How do you respond? Kamala Harris is then given the opportunity to respond, but then Dana Bash offers no pushback. She interjects with none of the facts. It's just simply, well, I guess that checks out. Nothing more to see here. CNN was doing their job effectively. They would have mentioned all of the things that Vivek Ramaswamy just mentioned. How Kamala Harris has not only been left in her career, but extremely left. And she's been aggressive in her approach, even going as far as suing the Obama administration. That's her true track record. But when Kamala Harris during the interview said that her values hadn't changed,
The most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed.
Dana Bash didn't offer any pushback or didn't question her. Well, what do you mean by that? They don't do their frickin' jobs. And Vivek is right that the American people deserve an explanation. Kamala Harris needs to address these issues. But in this media landscape, when's that going to happen? If the only people offering this type of challenge or mentioning the clear facts here are people like Vivek Ramaswamy, who very rarely get to show up on these newscasts, and who, of course, after that performance will probably never get invited again, at least not till after the election, well then you could pretty much predict what's going to happen. It's never going to happen. The entire media establishment is having a completely different conversation. Every now and then, someone like Vivek Ramaswamy will slip through the cracks. CNN will make a grave mistake of bringing him on, thinking he's just going to push partisan talking points, but then he shows up and hits them with stuff that they weren't aware of. But that's, of course, not the norm. It's certainly the norm when dealing with Donald Trump. They'll bring on all his detractors. All the little juicy details will get uncovered. In fact, it'll probably go even beyond that. They'll also just, make stuff up as they go, inventing the next scandal and next scandal and next scandal, or as we're seeing now, bringing back old phony scandals. Apparently now we ought to be worried about Russian interference in the election. That's the standard for Trump. And then, of course, no real standard, no real challenge to Democrats at all. Yet Caitlin Collins will tell you with a straight face that CNN does its job. They'll point at this one CNN interview and really present it from a completely different perspective. They'll say, you see, we allow Republicans to have their voices heard. Yeah, what? Once in the last 6 months? Never to happen again? I guess back to Scott Jennings is where we go. And look, I know it sounds like I'm kind of crapping all over Scott Jennings. And trust me, I'm not. I like the guy. I think he's a force for good. But Scott's not enough, and Scott wants to keep his job. Like I just said, the simple fact is CNN's having a different conversation than everybody else. They're having a clearly biased, one-sided conversation. And meanwhile, the real, honest conversation is happening in actual environments of free expression. Considering how dishonest Kamala's campaign has been, what you just saw from Vivek Ramaswamy, that should be the conversation every day, from morning till night. But of course, the simple fact is CNN and other news networks don't put that kind of pressure on Democrat candidates. Democrats can operate in the frickin' shadows. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and any other Republican have to deal with a hail of arrows, constant attacks from every frickin' direction and every angle. My suggestion, just turn CNN off, turn MSNBC off, and pay attention to the networks that are allowing Kamala Harris's actual detractors to speak. Because if you listen to the other side, well, it's truly devastating for the Kamala campaign. If it's not Vivek Ramaswamy, it's RFK Jr.
I don't think I don't think that Vice President Harris is a worthy president of this country. I think we need to have a president who can give an interview, who can articulate a vision, who can put together an English sentence, who can articulate her and defend her policies and her record, and who can engage in a debate and regular debates, unscripted appearances. Vice President Harris's speech at the convention made it very clear that she will continue the warfare state, that she's bragging about how she sees warfare as a tool, as the frontline tool of American foreign policy. This is a catastrophe for our country. We've got to unravel the warfare.
You think Trump would
that's the conversation we ought to be having. And that's the conversation I think a lot of regular American people are having. And that is obviously the conversation that CNN so desperately wants to try to avoid. In other words, CNN wants to avoid the truth as per usual, even though they brand themselves as the most trusted name in news. I don't think Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be allowed to show his face on the network, probably for the next 65 or so days. I don't know, just a hunch. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you.
Yeah, man. Vivek. And again, y'all know he was in our top 3, man, for VP picks. Vivek, y'all. Yeah, CNN is they're going that fella is banned until after the election. You know? Oh boy. I'm reading some of these comments. I'll never invite CNN onto my TV screen. Shout out to them true patriots in the comments section. CNN literally tried to cancel Vivek Ramaswamy on live television, but Vivek came out full swinging. Her values haven't changed. You can't change things that don't exist. That tells you everything that you need to know about her. My values have not changed. When she said that, we already knew. My values have not changed. You know? Man. Just remember, in her own words, my values have not changed. Words are worthless. Actions are the only language I understand. Yes, indeed. Amen to that. Boy. But Vivek Ramaswamy, man, a class act. Again, he's probably banned until after this election from CNN. Fake news, enemy of the people. They don't want to hear the truth. You know, when truth was getting said and big things were being said, what they do? They cut the feed. You know, they have technical difficulties. Things cut off and shut off. You know. But I'm surprised they didn't lose the feed or cut the feed when he was speaking. I'm surprised. I'm surprised for that, y'all. But man, let me know what y'all think. Comment down below. I love y'all. I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life, man. And hey, remember to spread the love to one another, man. We are living in some crazy, crazy times, y'all. Spread the love and go out and vote, man. Go out and vote. It has to be too big to fucking rig. I love y'all, man. Peace and love, y'all.